Let us in, Cassie.
They up and they rise, it's no surprise. All my time's been compromised by those who rise. Big surprise, I'm reprised, just a motherfucking rap wizard in disguise. Look in my eyes, tell me no lies. Tell me that they're evil and that they rise from the dead. What? Damn!
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Film Archives, where I break down movies. I upload new videos every week, so consider subscribing to the channel for more movie-related stuff. But today, we're going to be breaking down Evil Dead Rise. Evil Dead Rise. Was it worth watching? Let's get into it. So the movie starts off and we're introduced to a young lady named Teresa, who is the cousin to another girl named Jessica. They're both vacationing at a beautiful lake house, and they are accompanied by Jessica's D-bag boyfriend. He's flying a drone and, just living his best life in general. You know what I mean? He's just drinking Red Bulls and he's all jacked up on Mountain Dew. And he's doing cool stuff. We quickly learn that Jessica is actually sick. So her boyfriend Caleb gave her some Klonopin to help her sleep it off. And we can quickly surmise that she's gone. She's straight up possessed. It's like, come on, bro. It's not good. Something bad here is going to happen. She's also talking in like demonic voices. And it's not good. It's not good at all.
Blood ran down and soaked the bedclothes.
Teresa attempts to help Jessica, but at this point she goes full on demon mode and just like literally rips the top of her head off and just scalps her right then and there. It's crazy. And she says like some smart ass remarks. She calls her a brainless meat puppet. It's pretty good, honestly. It's a pretty good intro.
Who's the brainless meat puppet now?
We then see Teresa make her way outside, attempting to reach Caleb for help, which doesn't matter because Jessica has followed them outside and, she's just doing crazy demon stuff. She hits herself in the face with the drone and then goes into the water. And at this point, Caleb makes an attempt to save his girlfriend, so he dives into the lake after her, and it's absolutely crazy. A few seconds later, we see that she has decapitated Caleb and just starts levitating above the lake. It's actually very frightening stuff. The movie then goes back one day earlier, where we're introduced to a guitar technician by the name of Beth. She's learned that she's pregnant, so she's pretty upset by this. Beth then decides to pay a visit to her sister, who goes by the name of Ellie. She's a tattoo artist and a single mother to 3 kids, by the name of Danny, Bridget, and Cassie. All the kids are kind of weird, to be honest. Like, her son Danny has like a full-on turntable setup, which is kind of weird. I feel like those things cost a lot, but I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments below if you do know. And then her other daughter is kind of, just like the general hippie and activist. And then we have her other younger daughter who is a bit off. She's like cutting the heads off dolls, and she uses like the broken handle of a mop and the cut off doll head to make herself a doll by the name of Stephanie, which I don't know. I thought the broken mop handle was pretty unsafe, but it will come back into play. So remember this.
Your boyfriends are weirdos.
Ellie decides to break the news of her husband leaving to Beth, so she has the kids leave the apartment and tells Danny to use her car and to go get them some pizza. We then see the kids coming back from getting pizza, and they're getting out of the car in the parking lot below. And suddenly out of nowhere, we have a crazy earthquake, and everything starts shaking, and the kids stupidly drop the pizza. I mean, look at this.
Bridget dropped the pizza.
They dropped the pizza.
Pizza.
You don't do that. The earthquake uncovers like an old concealed bank vault, and the young kid Danny decides, you know what, I'm going to investigate this. I'm going to check it out. And while he's down there, he discovers a bunch of weird stuff. He finds like 3 old dusty records and a strange book and a couple of like weird religious artifacts and like a chamber. And honestly, if this kid's played any video games, you can see that this is basically keeping something evil inside. So don't take any of this shit. But what does he decide to do? He takes the book and he takes the records up to his room. That's so stupid. So stupid. So he goes upstairs and he starts investigating the book. And if you've seen any of the Evil Dead movies before, you know that this book is not good. It's the Book of the Dead. So you already know it's super bad. While Danny is handling this book, he accidentally cuts his finger and, the blood drips onto it, which causes the book to open up. It's not good. It's not good. We then see Danny decide to play the records that he found on his turntables, which is just a bad idea. Like, are you freaking stupid, dude? Like, yes, this kid's so dumb, but Yeah, anyway, so he plays the records, and the records reveal the book he found is the Book of the Dead. It details that the book is made of, cured human flesh, and that all its pages and writings are etched in human blood. So it's like some real occult demonic stuff, dude. It's not good. And as he's listening to the records, we see the priest begin to recite one of the passages from the book, and this is super bad, you know what I mean? It's super bad. So as the priest is reciting this incantation from the book, all hell kind of breaks loose. We see the book start flipping through the pages violently. Danny attempts to turn it off. However, the record continues playing. And unknowingly, this kid, Danny, he's just like big fucking up right now, dude. He's big messing up. We then see some sort of invisible entity making its way to the apartment complex, where it attacks and possesses the mom, Ellie, inside the elevator. And as this is happening, the building's power decides to fail. We then see Ellie return to the apartment in what seems to be a trance. She's at the stove where she begins to throw full-on eggs into a pan. And let me just say, I wish my apartment had a gas burner like this. Like, look at that flame. It's incredible. It's incredible. I would be making some bomb quesadillas. We then see Ellie just like full on possessed, and she is starting to threaten her family, and it's terrible.
How much I wanted to cut you all open.
And while this is happening, she also pleads with her sister Beth, to protect her children from the demon. So she already knows she's gone, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not good. Beth and the young kid, Danny, attempt to go get help for Ellie, but we see that the staircase has collapsed from the earthquake and that the elevator is not working. We then see that Ellie has just died, and it's really sad, she succumbed to the demon, and her neighbors show up to try to help lay her to rest, and, they're all kind of working together to find a way out of the apartment building. We learn that the staircase has collapsed, the elevator is damaged, and they are unable to access the fire escape as the apartment that it connects to has been padlocked off. We then see Ellie revive and just attack the family, and bro, this right here,
Mommy's with the maggots now.
This is how you do a demon movie. Like, let me tell you, this is good stuff right here, you know what I mean? Like, she's got the riz, skibbity riz. At this point, I would be good being dead before any of this happens. Like, I'm good being a deadite. Hey, if you know, you know. Ellie winds up wounding Beth and Bridget, and let me tell you, this is top tier acting right here. The actress who plays Ellie, her name is Alyssa Sutherland. She deserves a raise, dude. Like, look at this. Ellie stabs Beth through the hand with a shard of the broken mirror. She also tackles her daughter Bridget and attacks her with the tattoo gun. We see Ellie cackle, and she uses the tattoo gun and digs it into her own temple. It's just bonkers, dude. It's bonkers. She then turns it on her daughter Bridget, and she starts bringing it closer and closer to her eye, but luckily Bridget manages to turn her head away, and the tip of the tattoo machine just drags across her cheek, slashing a line across it. It's very brutal stuff. Danny then shows up and knocks Ellie out with a chair, and the neighbors, hearing the commotion, come into the apartment in an attempt to help, but we see Ellie leap onto them, and she charges them out into the hallway. During this commotion, they manage to lock Ellie outside of their apartment, where she just goes to town on the neighbors in the hallway. This scene's so gruesome. She basically massacres all the neighbors in the hallway. It's absolutely crazy. And honestly, up until this point, there's been so many good scenes in this movie and so much good dialogue that I had to keep pausing it to write timestamps and notes. It's so good, guys. We then see Danny confess to his aunt Beth about recovering the Book of the Dead, the Naturum Demanto, and the records of the priest reciting the dark ritual. Ellie, who is now locked out in the hallway, manages to trick her daughter Cassie into unlocking the door before attacking her. She's sings a lullaby, and also the fact that I guess Cassie's 12 years old. She's kind of easy to trick, but guys, teach your children that if people look like crackhead demon zombies, don't open the door. Never open the door for crackhead demon zombies. It's never good. So Cassie opens the door just a little bit, and Ellie grabs her by the throat with her hand, and it's really scary. Luckily, Danny and Beth manage to rescue Cassie, and they lock her out again. And while all this is happening, we see Bridget in the kitchen attempting to clean, the cut on her cheek, slowly become possessed by the wound. I guess it's sort of like a virus. I'm not really sure how that works. If you know how that works, let me know, because I was a little confused. Case in point, Bridget is now possessed. It's crazy. We then see the possessed Bridget attack Beth in the kitchen. It's terrible, She attacks Beth, and she attacks Danny, and she attacks the young daughter Cassie. Cassie is super scared, so she slowly backs away, and she grabs her doll Staphne, and she accidentally impales her through the head with the broken mop handle from her doll. So I told you to remember that. It came into play. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, right? Like, she thought her doll would protect her, and it kind of did. Like, that was a pretty cool little moment, I'm not gonna lie. Beth then asks Danny to listen to the third record so that hopefully she can get a better understanding of how to, like, get rid of these demons. So she decides to listen to the record, and she learns that the priest actually failed and there is no way to get rid of the demons, and that all of his allies that were studying this book also became possessed, and the only way of stopping them is complete body dismemberment. So just cut them up into little pieces, I guess. As Beth is listening to the record, Bridget revives and suddenly attacks Cassie and Danny, and it's pretty scary. Danny manages to save Cassie, and we get this like really scary scene of Bridget vomiting like a crimson torrent of blood all over Danny. It's insane, dude. It's insane. Using a nearby kitchen knife, Bridget actually like stabs Danny in the arm and then eventually stabs him in the chest. It's really sad. As all this is happening, he manages to set Bridget on fire using the first aid aerosol spray and the gas burner that I guess was just left on. I'm not questioning this because this movie's awesome, so we're not going to question it, guys. But yeah, he lights Bridget on fire, and that bitch is cooked. She's cooked. While all this is happening, Ellie decides to pull an alien and infiltrates the apartment using the air conditioning vent duct. She sneaks into the room while Beth is still listening to the record, and let me just say, if this was happening and you're listening to some records while there's demons around you, don't use over-the-ear headphones, and don't use both of them. Maybe just use one. I mean, like, look at this.
He's climbing your windows, he's snatching your people up.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's fine. It's fine. So Ellie sneaks up on her, but luckily Beth actually sees her reflection in the window and grabs a nearby screwdriver and stabs her in the neck. Ellie just stares at her and launches her crashing out of the room. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. So Beth comes crashing onto the floor into the living room, and she sees that Danny has been stabbed and he's dead, and there's a knife in his chest. It's pretty sad. Pretty sad. Demon Ellie at this point realizes that Beth is pregnant and attempts to like rip her baby out of her, which is just like super next level, brother. Like, take a chill pill, dog. Like, damn. Luckily, Cassie is nearby hiding underneath the couch, and she slides Beth like some scissors that she was using to cut off the doll head from earlier, and Beth stabs Ellie in the face and like momentarily incapacitates her. Beth grabs Cassie and they attempt to make their way to the fire escape, desperately trying to open like the padlock on the apartment using some of the tools that the neighbors had tried earlier. Beth manages to pick up a hammer and a shotgun from the dead bodies of the neighbors that are in the hallway, and we see that Ellie is once again revived and attacks Beth and Cassie. Luckily, Beth has the shotgun and manages to hold her at bay for just a little while. I'm not gonna lie, this is like my favorite part of the movie so far. We see Danny and the bodies of the neighbors in the hallway. They all resurrect and are possessed as well, and it's really scary. It's really scary. This scene keeps you on the edge of your seat, dude. Like, you're in for a wild ride. All of the bodies come back to life, and they're all possessed by demons, and they begin to attack Beth and Cassie, who, are forced to take shelter in the broken elevator at this point, and they attempt to escape through it. We then see that the elevator is like slowly filling with blood, and it's so much blood. Like, it's so much blood, guys. Like, they're beginning to actually drown to death by like a literal pool of blood. It's crazy. It's crazy. While this is happening, we see Bridget and Danny like gouge their hands into Ellie's body, and we see the Book of the Dead pages flipping, and it lands on like this multi-limbed creature, which we assume that they're gonna fuse into. So it's pretty scary, dude. It's pretty scary. So Ellie, Danny, and Bridget all kind of combine into the multi-limbed creature from the pages that the book landed on, and it's terrifying. Like, this literally looks like, I don't know if you guys have played Elden Ring, it looks like a grafted Scion, but even scarier. Scary stuff, dude. It's scary. The monster climbs on top of the elevator and attempts to attack Beth and Cassie, who are inside, slowly drowning while the elevator fills with blood, and the combined weight causes the elevator to like plummet to the ground floor, which is actually like their saving grace, because I think at that point they were like dead, you know what I'm saying? So the elevator comes crashing down, the doors open, and like a freaking tidal wave of blood gushes out, and it's like a massive spew of crimson. Beth and Cassie are covered in blood, but they've managed to survive, and they make their way into the parking lot and attempt to flee. Beth and Cassie make it to the car, but the tires get stuck in the destroyed parking lot from the earlier earthquake. They also see the multi-limbed monster in the rear view mirror, and at this point they're like, you know what, we're just escaping and we're sprinting out of here. As they're going underneath the parking lot door, the creature manages to actually capture Cassie. He like puts her inside of a tree trimming truck and attempts to like cut her head off with a chainsaw. It's so sad, dude. Like, who's gonna harm a young kid like that, dude? But, you know, Beth at this point is like, hell no, you're not hurting my niece. And she returns and distracts the monster with the shotgun. And she says some pretty classic Evil Dead lines. Check it out.
Come get some.
Come get some.
Come get some. It's pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. The monster throws a chainsaw at Beth and grabs her and tries to force her into a wood chipper that's attached to the tree trimming truck. Pretty terrifying. Luckily, Cassie manages to turn it off just in time to save Beth, who picks up the chainsaw. And this is a callback to our boy Bruce Campbell. He's got the riz. You know what I'm saying? He's got the riz, bro. Beth, being a total badass, impales the monster with the chainsaw and like drives it back and forces it into the wood chipper. And Cassie manages to turn it back on. And this scene was literally too brutal, but it was also too awesome. It's really cool. The monster goes into the wood chipper and we see just a bunch of blood and guts spewing from its exhaust. And the only thing left is Ellie's severed head, which is still talking. And, you know, it's like taunting Beth. Beth doesn't want any part of this, so she like kicks her head into the chipper, and it's scary, dude. We then see that Beth and Cassie manage to escape the building together. It's good. You know, I'm glad that they survived. It's now the next morning, and we see a woman from the apartment complex making her way down into the parking lot. And, you know, she's on the phone, and she's saying that she's ready to leave for her vacation. And yes, this is the same parking lot from the night before. The woman gets into her car, and she sees, you know, the station wagon that's crashed, and she sees, you know, the tree trimming truck with the wood chipper, and she just freaks out because, you know, there's blood and guts everywhere. It's pretty friggin' scary. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the woman is attacked by an unseen force, and we find out that this is actually the woman Jessica from the intro of the movie. So this is how it all happens. Cut to black, end of the movie, Evil Dead Rise. So good. I'm not gonna lie, this movie was so good. If you haven't watched it, go watch it and prepare to have nightmares. I'm not kidding. I had some pretty messed up dreams after watching this, but I did watch it at like midnight. So, you know, that is the price we pay. That is the price we pay. Was it worth watching? For sure, yes, without a doubt. Even if you haven't seen the other Evil Dead movies, you will still enjoy this movie as a standalone horror film. And this is how you do horror movies right. And if you're a fan to the other Evil Dead movies, there are a lot of like subtle tributes to those movies as well, so you're going to enjoy it. Don't question me, just go watch it for yourself, and I promise you won't regret it. I promise. Don't question me, just go watch it. But alright, that will do it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave it a like. I would really appreciate it. I won't tell anyone that you did, and consider subscribing to the channel if you want to help support what I do. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace! Motherfucking evil, and they rise, and the motherfucking Evil Dead rise, and they're coming at you when they telling no lies, and they got your time, and it's all compromised because we don't know how to escape the motherfucking Deadites.